Now we want to talk about what is going on in the Bachelor world right now. Obviously, there's a lot of rumors, theories swirling around. As we all know, Clare was this season's Bachelorette. Everyone was really excited for her season because, you know, she's been on multiple seasons in the past, and a lot of new Bachelor fans like myself haven't gotten the chance to watch her on TV. So it was also exciting just from that standpoint of not really knowing somebody and not judging them based off on the past experiences. And just because she's a little bit older, it was like, okay, we're actually going to see a real relationship happen. She may actually fall in love. We're going to get something out of this. And then boom, the rumors start swirling. Apparently, Clare had fallen in love within 12 days with this guy, Dale Moss, and they're bringing in Tayshia as the new Bachelorette. At this point in time, I think that this has been confirmed to be true by multiple sources. I think Lauren Zima posted about it, and she's dating Chris Harrison. So I don't think that
if Lauren posted, I know it's true because she's got the Chris H.
Right. She would not post about it if it wasn't true, because she is dating Chris Harrison. He obviously knows what is going on. He is Chris Harrison. So we got that, but then we also got pictures of Hannah Ann at the resort. We got Becca at the resort. So Nick, I just want to ask you.
Which Becca?
Kufrin.
Okay.
So I want to ask you what your reaction was to hearing these rumors about Tayshia stepping in, and also what you think is going on with the other women showing up at the resort.
I mean, I was as shocked as anyone. You know, I spent a lot. I had Ali Fedotowsky on my podcast. We just spent the whole time just like talking scenarios, and we were really just guessing. It's crazy. What I said before is like, I was really excited for Clare for the same reasons. Well, same and different reasons. I liked that they were aging up. I thought it was just different. You know, I think we were getting this kind of the same thing for a while, and I think it was neat to see a more variety of ages, and especially an older woman. You know, you don't see that as much. You never saw that on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And what I was so excited about Clare being casted too is because Clare is self-assured in what she wants and will do what she wants. And she is highly emotional. So it was like, you don't know what you're going to get, which was great TV. But she really kind of went above and beyond. I mean, listen, you know, there's so many layers, right? Because of the quarantine, they took a break. She knew a good chunk of her men for so long.
She saw all of them. Yeah.
You know, I think everyone's assuming they were talking. Right. And then she just said, screw it. She showed up for 12. You know, that's the thing. We're doing a lot of guessing, right? What we know is where it's safe to assume that Tayshia's taking over. And it sounds like, okay, she's dating this Dale guy, right? We're making a lot of guesses. We don't know. You know, even Ali mentioned on my podcast that, you know, maybe Clare quit, but maybe the producers caught wind of this relationship and they were just like, hey, you know, clearly you guys are hitting it off. So, and maybe they kind of not necessarily egged her on, but let her go down that path and brought in Tayshia. Maybe it wasn't Clare going rogue. I don't know. Maybe it was. I mean, that's what we don't know. And that's what I think we're all curious, and that's what we'll all want to see. And I think that's what they're going to try to like hold on to air that for the drama. But I am, because I don't know, I am curious myself because it seems crazy, you know, Is she engaged this guy? Is she dating? Did she just say, screw it? You know, did she literally refuse to date? I don't know. You know, those are all the questions.
It's crazy because and like you said with Clare, when this all happened, I thought like, of course, my thought, I've watched every show that Clare has been on. So I've seen Clare. I kind of get her TV persona. And so I was like, oh my God, this is the most Clare thing of all time. Like she's head over heels in love and she found her guy and that's it. She's done like this. And it's a whole different element to think like, and what sucks is I've been seeing Clare kind of get some hate because it's like, she knew the rules. Like she signed up to be the Bachelorette. But the one thing we've learned from the past few seasons of this show, I feel like there really are zero rules. Like there are no rules. Like I highly doubt, like they publicly posted all of her men before like she could see them. There was no like first night, here's all your guys, surprise. She could see who they were. And I highly doubt anyone was like, Claire, you can't reach out. Like, you can't talk to any of these people. Or
well, I'm sure they definitely told her not to.
You think? Like, I feel like maybe even still there would be no, like,
100%. 100%. I feel like they said, sorry, but I feel like they said, you can't do this, and she did it anyway.
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. You're absolutely right, Fran. There are no rules. There's guidelines, right?
Yeah.
And even if there are rules, the one thing, again, the producers are the best at is adapting and understanding that people break all the rules all the time. Sometimes you put rules in place knowing they're going to be broken so that you can call people out on it, right? Listen, Bachelor Nation is kind of a funny world, right? Because, like, I've been, sitting here debating what might have happened. As someone who's been the lead before, I'm a little critical if Claire just up and quit, right? Because, like, well, what you did, keep in mind, it's always weird when you like put out any type of criticism, whether you say someone's boring TV or you're like, I wouldn't have done that in the show, and then people react to that criticism. Like, Claire doesn't deserve hate for any of this. It's a TV show, right? So to be clear, like, she can do whatever she wants. Now, it's kind of like, well, why did you show up? The show's going to be fine. The producers are going to adapt. I just can't keep happening. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those things, like, they'll make this situation work. It's the first time it's happened. Makes it super interesting. We're all dying to know. But, like, if Matt James does this.
Right. Like, you can't just have bachelors up and quitting 2 weeks in.
Yeah. Like, and this idea that, well, if she fell in love, it's just like every lead falls in love in 12 days and they just power through, that's generally how it works. But it'll be super interesting. I mean, the Hannah Ann stuff, the Becca stuff, to me, Becca being there, it would speak to the fact Hannah Ann being there is nothing.
Yeah, I will say that I did see an article just before we came on here that E! News had posted that, their sources said that they're both there to film some kind of, sit down with Tayshia, like, okay, now you're the Bachelorette, have fun, we're here to support you, and that's like the only reason.
That makes a ton of sense. And I saw the picture of Hannah Ann with, like, it's like, oh, she's like, has all this luggage. And I'm like,
giant suitcase.
I mean, Hannah and I, actually, we never met in person, but she's been on my podcast and she's become a friend. I think she's super cool. But, like, I've had women come and visit me for 2 days and bring more luggage than that. I don't think her packing a modest suitcase says anything. Hannah Ann might strike me as someone who might over-prepare.
Yeah.
Right. And I also think the luggage would be a little bit bigger and more if she was going to be the Bachelorette. Like, if she was going to be the Bachelorette instead of Tayshia, like, you need a little bit more than that.
Actually, the opposite.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you're the Bachelorette. We'll get you close. You don't need anything.
Yeah, true. Good point.
You don't need shit.
Right.
I would say that's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what happened with Claire, and obviously you know way more behind the scenes stuff, but I feel like you said, every lead falls in love within 12 days and they push through, because I feel like when you relate it to a real life situation, obviously it's not even close to real life and it doesn't even make sense. But if you were to spend every day with the same group of guys or the same group of girls, there's going to be one that sticks out in the crowd to you, and you're going to be attracted to that person. It's always going to be that person as you go on. In the back of your head, you may be attracted to a few out of the bunch, but there was always one that stands out more than the rest, and you push through. And maybe there have been leads in the past who have wanted to quit before, but the producers were like, no way, no how. There's absolutely no way you were quitting this show. Right.
Yeah.
Whereas with Claire, I feel like they were like, you know what? This season has been such a shit show already, and also we've been off the air for how many months? People want something juicy. People want a really fucking good show. If you leave right now and we bring in Tayshia, who people wanted originally,
people will lose it.
Then this is the best of both worlds, because now we get the 12 days, or we get two episodes of Claire falling in love, or 3 episodes, whatever it may be. And then we get the whole dramatic highlights of Claire not wanting to come out. She's in love. and then all of a sudden, like we said, Tayshia comes out of the limo and it's this big, extravagant entrance. it just juices up the show so much more. And because that has been off the air, I feel like producers were more inclined to be like, you know what, fuck it, do whatever you want. We're going to make this work. This show is going to be phenomenal. It's going to be off the charts. Who even knows if football season is coming back at this point? Like every person who watch football is now going to be watching this show. Let's give them something good.
I kind of agree with you. And Allie, when she came on my podcast, pointed that out. And she's kind of convinced me that of that to be the case, because Allie, she was a former Bachelorette. She knows. She was just like, hey, if they really wanted to convince Clare, if Clare, Allie was like, they could have stopped Clare from quitting.
Right. They have way more power over.
They have a contract.
Like, they could. Like, I feel like there's so much.
We could sue you if you leave.
Like I feel like they have way more to threaten her with.
Sure. Well, I don't think they would, but you're right. And yes. At first I took an opposite approach. I'm like, well, she can quit. And I agree with you, Fran. If anyone could just, regardless, I think Clare has the moxie to just say, fuck it and totally quit, regardless of what threats may come.
Totally.
And so I don't think it's like, for example, if Tayshia was the Bachelorette and we heard rumors of Tayshia quitting, that would be easy to, like, you know what I'm saying? Or me or Ben, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, but Clare has that moxie to just be like, fuck you. I don't care. Like, Clare is very earnest and she, right reasons, all that stuff. She's a true believer in her love story and in a great way, but like, you can believe it. But at the same time, they probably could have convinced her, and they are great at adapting. And Allie and Rhea, you've kind of convinced me that probably Clare wanted to quit. And instead of fighting with her and making all these crazy threats, they just took a moment, they had a couple meetings, and they thought, what are our options?
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what? Let's fucking do it. And they made a few phone calls. They're like, hey, Tayshia, you busy for the next few weeks? No? Well, would you want to be? Sure. And here we are is probably how it went down, is my guess.
So what do we think of Tayshia now coming into this role? Because you did say, you had talked about Tayshia being the Bachelorette, said you thought maybe she would make for some boring TV. But I think it's interesting too now, there's this whole other element of the guys that she will have, because they said that, and I said this to Rhea on our other episode this week, like, if they're calling back guys that Clare had sent home and they're bringing them back, like, now Tayshia just kind of gets Clare's throwaways.
It'll be interesting, Tayshia's point of view, right? Tayshia being boring TV. It's sometimes, again, I forget how sensitive we all are. And I'm sensitive because I'm like, I didn't even think that was criticism.
I'm with you on that. That is a compliment. Like, we say the same thing on our show all the time. Like, if you're on reality TV and you're labeled boring, that most likely means you're normal in real life.
Yeah. She was not. I got an unfollow from Tayshia.
Oh, damn.
But it's fine. It's fine. I hope Tayshia and I can be friends again. But in that sense, I think Tayshia is aware of, her critics or her supporters, and as most people are. And when you are in that world, that's when you get measured. And you're just like, we all care what people think. Some people are better at like saying, fuck it, I'm here, why not? It'll be curious how Tayshia, does she embrace that role? How much is she pushed by the producers? Does she just say, screw it, I'm just going to like embrace this opportunity? Does she question these guys whether they're really there for her? Mm-hmm. Or does she just have kind of a realistic, were they really there for Clare? Kind of thing.
Great point. Because that's what I think about, is that, yes, they are there for Clare. And I think in terms of this season, because Matt James was already casted as the Bachelor, I think the guys maybe had a little bit more of like, okay, I'm here to actually form a relationship, even if I want to go on Bachelor in Paradise or be in the franchise. I think people go on the show a lot of times to become the Bachelorette or Bachelor or whatever it is. So I almost felt like maybe these guys had a little bit of a different view, although we don't know them. We've never talked to them, so I have no idea. That was just like me having hopes about it. But I also think I was torn because on one side I was like, it's only been 12 days that they've been with Clare. Like, how in love with Clare could they be? I'm sure they could just switch to Tayshia. But then I'm like, Clare fell in love within 12 days. So maybe they are. But also she may have been spending more time with this guy. So maybe they didn't even get a chance to acknowledge her.
She had to have been.
Right. And the other question that I wanted to bring up was, now, there's rumors that Clare is already engaged to this guy. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what it is. What do you think about that? Because I am mind-boggled by somebody getting engaged within 12 days. I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will. But if you know, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right?
It's such a Clare move. It's such a Clare move.
It is. It's a Clare move. And that's not a criticism. It's just a Clare move. She got engaged in Winter Games, right? I didn't watch it, but she did, yeah.
She did get engaged after Winter Games.
Clare is great TV because Clare has always been, and to some degree I have a little bit, but she is, when she's in Bachelor World, she's earnest and she goes for it, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there was a part of her, and I'm speculating that she's like, maybe she I cheated. I talked to this guy. But you know what? I do love him. And I'm going to prove it to myself and to him and to Bachelor Nation that, I love him. So I came to find love. I came to get engaged. So let's fucking do it. Keep in mind also, unless she asked him, he also must have wanted to get engaged to her, right? It's not, can't just put it all on Clare.
Yeah.
Dale.
Absolutely. We know nothing about Dale. That's why I've been leaving him out. But
this guy has just been, this week we know nothing. We haven't seen him. All we have is his picture, and boy, is he like, shit.
Former Packer. I realized he was I showed him, but yeah, and he's a good-looking guy.
I showed my boyfriend him before, and he was like, he looks like they made him in a hot guy machine. Like they just
he looks like a model who's from he came from France or whatever. He's like a high-end fashion model. It's just like, while he plays football, it's a win for Clare. Listen, as I think we all agree, I'm certainly going to watch. I'm way more intrigued by this season. I think my hope is that it doesn't peak too early, in a sense.
Right.
That, we clearly want to find out what happened with Clare and Dale. A lot of people are excited about Tayshia, but will Tayshia and these guys, and even the show, keep the energy and the steam going? Because by episode 3 or 4,
it's almost impossible.
No, it really. If they can pull it off, they truly are geniuses. Because I do empathize with Tayshia there too. Because one thing the show does, for better or worse, is they drive a point home. So my guess is it could be are we going to have to hear about Tayshia's ability to pick up from where Clare left things off? I'm curious. I am very curious how they will handle it from a production standpoint, but I don't know if they're going to keep it interesting. I hope they do, because that's a tough challenge for the show, for Tayshia. Now, are they going to have extra episodes? Does Tayshia have 4 weeks to fall in love? Because they were only filming for 6. So is it literally half of a season? So there's a lot of questions. And again, one thing when I was on Caitlin's season, they canceled hometowns and change the season. They're very good at adapting. They'll do what they need to do. If they have to throw in a couple weeks of filming, they'll do it.
I really do hope that they bring in, I feel like the producers always have people in a folder of unused contestants that they have not asked to be on the show yet. That were maybes. And I'm hoping that maybe they dip into the maybe file a little bit to bring in some, because to bring in some faces that we haven't seen, because now we have seen the faces of these guys on Clare's season for a while now. We've talked about them. We've seen them. Like, I'm hoping maybe like if Tayshia comes in, they can sprinkle in some new people.
What do you mean?
Like to have different guys, not all, because obviously we saw that they are bringing people back that Clare had sent home. We saw that. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying like maybe there's a few that they had that they didn't ask to be on Clare's season because of their age or whatever reason or whatever, for them to call them and be like, all right, get, whatever, get tested, time to quarantine. We want you to come. It's not Clare, it's Tayshia. And it's people fresh faces, because it'll just be interesting to see, because obviously you're grateful for the opportunity, but I feel like Tayshia's getting a little gypped on the contestants front. Like it just felt like they curated these guys for Clare. They were so insistent that like Clare's an older bachelorette. We're going to make sure that these guys are good for her. We're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to pick guys that are good for Clare. And now they're just going to use all the same guys?
I mean, I can assure you that all they did was age up for Clare, and that's probably the extent.
Probably it, yeah.
Right, and Tayshia's 29, so I feel like the aging up is not even an issue for her. It's not like she's 24 and the guys are 30-something. Like,
totally
the guys that are 34 and 30 whatever are perfect for Tayshia. I feel like it's like the perfect age range for her. And I also think that, we are all so excited when we heard that Matt James would be the Bachelor, and we were like, oh my God, and everyone was like,
we were like, skip Clare.
We're like, skip Clare's season, let's just watch Matt. But I actually love that this happened, because now I'm not even thinking about Matt James' season. I am thinking strictly about Clare and Tayshia's season.
Maybe that was on purpose.
Which is what I'm going to bring back to the point where they were like, okay, Clare wants to quit and nobody even really cares right now. So like, go off, do your thing. Let's make this shit pop, have the drama flowing. You did bring up a great point, Nick, about it being like really, dramatic in the beginning, and then how will they keep it interesting? I felt the same way about Peter's season when we saw Hannah come back and we saw the tears and we saw the everything that was just like, everything leading up to that. We saw so many trailers of she's back, and we couldn't possibly believe it was Hannah. And then Hannah did come back and everyone was like, how are we going to top this? And then he proposed to Hannah Ann, then dumped Hannah Ann, then went to Maddie, then, didn't work out with Maddie. We got Barb, and then he was with Kelly. So I feel like it always finds its way.
Oh, they'll figure it out. They know what they're doing. Yeah. And I'm really curious to see, there's going to be 2 or 3 guys that Clare didn't end up with, right? That we got to know and start to like, and maybe they liked Clare. And now those are the conversations I'm interested in, right? To see a guy have a one-on-one with Clare and be like, she's the best and I love her. And then all of a sudden Tayshia comes in.
She's the best. I love Tayshia.
if I'm a producer, right? That's who gets the first one-on-one.
Right.
Like the guy who just poured his heart out about Clare. I make sure he's like getting one of the first 2 one-on-ones with Clare, with Tayshia, and I get him to say the same shit about Tayshia.
Absolutely. And do you think that they leave? Like, do you think that there'll be some guys that are like, I'm out?
I think the producers will invite that option.
For sure.
And that's the thing. It's like they're just good at whatever you want to be. They want you to be it. Your most outrageous self, that show puts you into a box. And then as a cast member, that's what's frustrating. No one's ever as great or as bad as they seem in real life. Tyler is wonderful. He's also human, He's done. There's a world that Tyler C could have been a villain. I guarantee it, right?
Absolutely.
And I think Tyler's great. I am not talking shit about Tyler. I'm just saying
we love Tyler too.
We all and so that as a cast member, we get frustrated that whatever you are, you're like, there's more to me, and there truly is. So I think, whatever you're feeling in that moment, if producers don't tell you to not. Like once in a while, like if the show's filming, right, and you're in like week 5 or 7, and you pretty much created your own story arc by being the nice person or the whatever. Let's say you're the nice, sweet person. They like you. Maybe they're like, oh, this person could be our next lead or bachelor. And all of a sudden you're just like, I want to do some shit. Like they're like, pump the brakes, buddy. You're fine. This is gonna help no one. Once in a while they'll do that. For the most part, they don't stop you from doing anything because it's all content. And they're just going to create some content and then they'll figure out afterwards how they want to air that content. So yeah, if guys want to leave, that's right. That's drama, right? That's interesting. That's
yeah.
How's that make Tayshia feel, right? How's that, they're not going to want to push Tayshia too much early on because they're asking a lot of her. She's in a tough position to take over halfway through. It's not ideal. Like, granted, it's going to be a great opportunity for her, but it's not the same as the normal experience. Right.
And I want to say that there are times where people, and we even said it like, oh, we feel bad for Tayshia. She's getting, the half of the season. She is willingly signing up for this and going. Yeah. So I don't think there's any reason. I actually just came to that conclusion in my head. I'm like, wait a second. I don't feel bad at all because she is willingly showing up and knowing what she is signing up for. She knows that she was the backup plan to Clare because Claire is leaving. She knows that she may get the same guys. She knows that they may leave. So I'm sure she knows all the possibilities and she's still doing it for the great opportunity that it is.
Totally. That's the thing. It's so... Sometimes you feel like you have to remind fans that we're talking in Bachelor world. Like, even if we're going to like criticize Claire for quitting what she signed up for, it's like, she's harming no one,
Right, yeah.
So it's like everyone calm down a little bit. And you're right. It puts Tayshia in a tough spot, but she accepted it. It's going to be great. Hopefully great for her. They'll push her. She's gonna get stressed out. There will be moments she wants to quit. That's inevitable.
Imagine
bringing in someone else.
Could you? Like, and is there? I would be curious though. What if totally reasonable for Tayshia to show up and be like, these are my guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she probably saw the rundown. Like, I mean, we've all seen it, so she knows.
Yeah,
what
she could have seen him too.
Yeah. No, listen. I think Tayshia's going to totally fall for someone, whether it works out or not.
And this is, and like you said, this is not a hit on Tayshia at all. But let's all remember that, like, she did have a relationship with John Paul Jones on Bachelor in Paradise. Like, she's very much going to be willing to be with someone and find love. Like, I'm
glad you said it. You said it, not me. I mean,
yes, and I say it with love. Happy. Like, if she is willing to have that relationship on television, she's probably going to find a relationship on this show.
Loyal fans are like like even I have. We all have like some diehard fans, and it's like you can't say anything about us other than like you really got to preface it.
Right.
Yep. No harm, but I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh, she's the greatest.
John Paul Jones, funny guy, but could never see myself in a relationship with him.
Right. Those two were never going to work.
Yeah. Don't shank me in an alley,
Yep, exactly. But and look, we love Tayshia, so we're excited. She was obviously one of the people that we had wanted to be when Claire was announced as the Bachelorette, it was shocking. We had no idea that it was going to be somebody from like that far back. So, and I think a lot of people thought Tayshia. So I mean, I'm getting both.
I'm going to be disappointed we didn't see a full season of Claire for all the reasons we've talked about. And then like, cause like, that's a fact. People are going to be like, they'll want to label as to why she quit. Some people will say, well, see, this proves that 39-year-olds know what they want. And so that's a good thing. And maybe they won't cast. Like, to me, that's all silliness. Like she clearly was talking to this guy. And you're right. I totally agree with you, Rhea, after hearing more. She probably wanted to quit, as a lot of leads do. They probably gave her an option to quit, and she took it, and here we are. So it's all fine. The show, we're all going to be excited about it. But I am bummed to not just see a full season of Claire. I wanted to see that.
Yeah, well, that's her own fault.
Yep.
That was her own choice.
It is what it is at this point. Either way, we're all going to tune in. We're all going to live tweet Tuesdays, not Mondays this time around. It's going to be a little switch up. I like to start my week off with The Bachelor or Bachelorette, but it is what it is. I'll take what I can get. Any show that I can live tweet, I will watch it.